So what I was afraid of is already happening. If any of you have been paying attention to the internet, there's a viral video of a Mozambican person chasing away South African tourists. Now, for context, Mozambique is the direct neighbor of South Africa. As you can see, if you go just to the northeast of South Africa, there's Mozambique, bordered by Zimbabwe, bordered by Botswana, and then Namibia. And this was one of the problems that I thought was going to happen, which is isolation, not due to the fact that, there's xenophobia or anything, but because Africans want any excuse to hate other Africans. And if you give it to them, they're going to take it. We're going to get back to why Americans and Europeans don't get the same level of treatment that Black Africans get no matter what we do.
Yes, yes, yes.
He didn't swim to other we came with the money. You guys are our helpers at home.
Why are you coming in Mozambique?
Why were you there?
Where? I'm here in the country.
And you? We're here to visit.
To visit?
Like you. We're not here
Where?
to go to
Where?
We're here to visit.
Where the beautiful country. That's why you like it. Why you coming?
We pay.
So why you chase us then? Why you chase us? You are stupid guys. You South Africa people. You are very stupid. Why don't go to your president? Why did you go to Cape Town? Why you come in Mozambique? Very stupid. People, we cross with you people. We're not help with you guys. We're not help with you guys. We're very close with South Africa people. I tell you guys, you must go tell your president to fuck off. Yes. Yes. And I make video also.
Yes.
I make video.
Yes. You want my passport?
Essas sul-africanas, elas gostam coisa aqui.
Como é que vai rasgar? Como é que vai rasgar aqui? Olha isso aqui.
Why you don't ask your business? Ainda querem ameaçar também dois daqui. Ainda estão ameaçando também dois daqui. Estão andando de Jezar, essa moça aqui. Só que sul-africanos aqui, de Jezar. Vai embora, sul-africanos. Olha para os Jezar, os empregados daqui, para dois daqui. Não sou, eu sou mesmo. Aqui não se caiu não, ué. Isso que fecha ali, não fica. Aqui na janela, aqui. Não fica. Parece que estamos chegando nesse país. Alô, é possível. Que vão embora. Well, don't ask your business to stop. Ainda querem ameaçar também dois daqui. Ainda estão ameaçando também dois daqui. Estão andando de Jezar, essa moça aqui. Só que sul-africanos aqui, de Jezar. Ah, mas fuck off. Not here. Vai embora, sul-africanos. Olha para os Jezar, os empregados daqui, para dois daqui. Não sou, eu sou mesmo.
Já chega.
São estúpidos esses.
Já chega.
Ainda querem ameaçar esse aqui não se caiu não, ué. Isso que fecha aqui, não fica. Aqui na janela, aqui. Não fica. Parece que estamos chegando nesse país. Alô, é possível. Que vão embora. Vão embora, fuck off. You must fuck off. Fuck off the people. Shit. Estúpidos. Está em segunda rala. Mas eu quero no país. Como é que é isso aí? Rasgou aquela cena lá. Essas sul-africanas rasgou coisa aqui.
Como é que vai rasgar? Como é que vai rasgar aqui? Olha isso aqui.
Estão
estúpidas,
nosso país.
estúpidas mesmo.
No nosso próprio país.
Abusaram quando estão matando nossas famílias. Meus irmãos vão morrer lá.
Sanmananino, it is very sad to see tourists. I don't think anyone from Mozambique or anyone from any African country has seen this March and March, or anyone attacking or chasing away or kicking away tourists in their country. The only thing they said they do not want people without papers. I think
So I've been seeing two general reactions to this video. One of them is from South African people who support the March on March thing, and the others who don't. And both of them seem to be frothing at the mouth for different sides of reaction. And again, this is what I was afraid of, because if the message is not put out there the right way, then what's going to happen is people are going to think that there is an entire country's worth of people who firstly support the march, which it's not true that every South African does. A lot of them do, but not everyone does. Secondly, it will create this notion of criminality, and you will see obviously other countries, which I'll give you other examples, which are now taking it into their hands to try and retaliate. But again, this is a black on black thing that a lot of people are not fully aware of. And I call it black on black here because they're doing it because they're black, but you will see. Now, I want to play this woman's commentary a little bit because it's interesting what some people say.
this lady, she's just chasing people without a reason. She's just chasing them on the basis of us chasing people who are committing crimes in our country. And I think South African, we should just take down the name of this restaurant and know that we will never go to this restaurant. As much as I see these girls, I feel sorry for these South African ladies that went there and experienced this thing that happened to them. And also, I see it's not everyone in Mozambique that has attitude of this illiterate Mozambican or this non-thinking Mozambican, because
now, this is an important point that, again, we're watching a video of one person doing something. Do not try to generalize that onto all Mozambicans, and do not try to generalize the behaviors of some South Africans onto all South Africans. There have been some very dangerous videos from South Africa's side as well that people are pretending don't exist, but they do. But again, these are isolated people doing their own thing. Now, of course, the question is, why does it matter that Mozambique is doing what they're doing? Well, firstly, over 1 million people from South Africa vacate to Mozambique every year.
Travel with me to Mozambique. So I first had a flight which was from Cape Town to Johannesburg, which was 2 hours long. Then the shuttle picked me up in Joburg and we had a 16-hour drive to Tofu in Mozambique. They picked us up at 1 a.m. and we crossed the border to Mozambique at around 8 a.m. Not gonna lie, this drive really did kill me, but it was pretty comfy because there were only a few of us in the shuttle. So you drive through a bunch of towns and villages to get to Tofu, and further north you go, it gets more beautiful and more tropical. Then we stopped at this little farm stall and there were a whole bunch of birds that came running to look for food. They were super, super cute. And there was also this little dog who was so cute. We then arrived in Tofu just after dark, so I couldn't really film, but follow for more.
I'm on a bus trip heading to Maputo, where the grass is definitely greener on the other side. So to
This is how we do it, fun in the sun, baby. Welcome to Mozambique.
Now, as people within these African countries, and obviously the diaspora in general, are fighting over nothing, it seems as if the situation is getting more precarious. But as I said, this fighting is mainly between black people, white people, Indians, whatever, who are going to Mozambique, who are going to any of these countries, seem not to be treated. And it's not just about the race of the people, really, because there are South Africans of every race that support the removal of illegal immigrants, even though some of it is probably not being done the way that it should be if you really wanted to get rid of criminal elements, especially since the more scarier people are the ones which are the hardest to deal with. So I'm going to play two sides of the video because a lot of people like to lie and say there's no agitators in South Africa. But I'm going to play two people on either side, and both of them are going to agitate from either side.
That is stupid. Why don't go to your president? Why go to...
Hey, this incident happened between a group of tourists that came from South Africa. They went to visit Mozambique. Hey, yes, Mozambique. After all these things that were happening on the 30th of June, angazi bencabangan benithi nizoba exempt ngoba nama South African ngoba niphethe ama passport, you are there to visit, you've paid money, so you think whatever, nothing is going to happen to you. The delusion of it all. Kusazoba nzima for South Africans to navigate the continent. Wherever you go, you are going to be isolated and they are going to make you feel unwanted the same way you have made Africans feel unwanted in your country. And Usisi was even going, can I show you my passport? As if that was going to exempt her somehow. As if the people that were forced to leave on the 30th of June did not have passports. They had passports.
I was born here. Yes, I was born here.
So your mother is here. So your mother is here.
Hello, leader. I'm Wilma Foreign. Why don't you explain? No, don't talk to her. She's a foreigner. Don't talk to her.
Some of them had permits. Some of them had permits issued by the government of South Africa. Some of them had ZSP permits. They've been asked to go. Some of them were visiting. Some of them had study permits. The criteria for 30th of June was, if you are not South African, go. They did not care. So I'm glad that this group experienced it. And I could see that lady getting frustrated because according to her, she had paid money to come and visit. She's maybe spent quite a bit of money to book that vacation. She was not intending to stay. She crossed through the right channels. She had her passport with her, but okusalayo kuthiwa hambani. You are not welcome. And this is now going to be the order of business. Wherever you go as a South African, be prepared for these kinds of things. You are going to answer a lot of questions. Be prepared.
So I know some Pan-African people are very excited about what's happening here. But again, this is the same foolishness and it should not be celebrated because I can tell some people think, okay, they're getting their revenge and whatever. But this is going to affect all South Africans negatively, not just the ones who you interpret as xenophobic. And yes, there have been very small attacks. And you must remember that this Mozambican lady is one person. I mean, nobody in the building was defending the South Africans. I can promise you, if this happened maybe 2 years ago, everyone there would be arguing on the behalf of the South Africans. But since this has happened, they really don't care anymore. They're not going to jump to kick South Africans out, but they're not going to jump to help them either. And as I said, Mozambicans are our direct neighbor. So it's a torturous thing to know that there's going to be trouble between Mozambicans and South Africans. I mean, as I said, it's one of those places where if you don't have the type of money to just go to India or Madagascar or wherever, but you still want to go somewhere foreign, it's like, okay, Mozambique is a good place, Namibia is a good place, but once it's isolated, it's crazy. It gets crazy. And you do know that a lot of these other countries don't mess with Africans anyway. So to get the same response in Africa is not good, but you know, and I heard some people saying like, okay, don't go there now, wait a couple months or something. It's like, there's no months. Like, this is going to go on for a long time.
Mama, my lady from Mozambique, I'm very proud of you. I am very, 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 very proud of you. I hope.
So I've played this guy before on this channel, and sometimes he makes sense, but on this video he makes zero sense because he is advocating for the, let's say, harassment that those South African ladies got in Mozambique, and he's going to go into a basically inciting violence. Now the guy reacting is also going to go into some level of that, but we're going to play it just now.
I hope all other African countries are watching. I hope all other African people are watching in all respective countries, in all their respective countries. This is how you deal with a xenophobic country. Wherever South Africans visit, where it is not South Africa, this is what you need to do to them. Because South Africans, they were just saying they have a problem with illegal immigration. But their brothers and sisters here in South Africa, they've been treating all African people, whether documented or undocumented, the same. They've been painting everyone as a criminal. So this is how you treat them. You should chase them away from all of your countries, wherever they are. They should stay in South Africa because they say that South Africa is an island. South Africa is the country that everyone wants to come to. So why are they going out to other countries, to visit other countries? They should not come to your countries. Wherever you see South Africans, chase them the very same way they've been chasing your brothers and sisters in South Africa. If you see them in those buildings, drive them out of those buildings the same way they were driving your sisters and brothers here in South Africa. Beat them the very same way that they were beating your sisters and brothers here in South Africa. Push them out those buildings the very same way they were pushing your sisters and brothers here in South Africa. Because these people, they think that they own Africa. They think that Africa belongs to them. So it's time that all African countries, wherever you are, if you see a South African person right now, do to them what they've been doing to your sisters and brothers here in South Africa. Because I will repeat, I'm not going to lie. I'm a South African. I've seen what they were doing to people who had documents, people who had legal passports and visas to be here in this country, have been treated as if they are criminals. They've been treated as if they were the ones who have been selling drugs, kidnapping people. Meanwhile, they came here to have an honest living in this country. So wherever you see South Africans, it does not matter if they're a tourist, they came to a country to just tour. Wherever you see South Africans, you need to chase them out, all of them. They should come back to South Africa. This is how you deal with these nonsensical people. I'm very proud of you.
Man, they say hate spreads faster than love. And this South African guy, what's his name again? I forgot. But this is not the message that he should be pushing out there, because it's not going to end well when you're encouraging people to do violence. I mean, he's going to get in trouble for that. I highly doubt he can keep talking like that and not get in trouble. But again, in Africa, I mean, I'll say it again, Black people sometimes, there's this disappointment where when we see other Black people doing something, we'll find the smallest amount of excuse to go after one another. Here, it's the xenophobic attacks. Therefore, we should attack South Africans outside. Now, I do understand, again, that this was just going to happen. Like, I predicted this a long time ago. Like, this is obvious that it's going to happen. This is only the beginning. But when it does happen, we have to remember that it's isolated. You have to be smart. You have to realize that it's isolated. Otherwise, the entire continent will crumble. Now we will see the guy who's been saying nothing and playing videos for like 5 minutes. He's going to finally give an opinion. He's going to ignore all the other stuff and go straight for the radical stuff. But let's see.
South Africa. 13.8 billion or more from South Africa every year. Zimbabweans, you are going to suffer. Mozambique, you are going to suffer. Malawi, you are going to suffer. Nigeria, you are going to suffer. And I'm disappointed about Ghana, Nigeria, they have not left our country. Only less than 1,000 people left this country.
Before he gets deep into his tirade, I have to say this part is actually hilarious. So people are like, "Oh yeah, only 1,000." How many did you think were gonna leave? Like without you actually grabbing them, like with your money and forcing them out. There's like 5 million of these people here. Like they're not leaving, and some of them are definitely Somalians are not going anywhere. There's already a case of a Somalian who took, well, and a foreigner, I don't know if they're Somalian, who took their own life because, you know, they were being told that they have to go back and they would rather, you know, than go back.
Ethunana kuthi umnywa ngaphandle uziqhomile apha kuba engafuni ugoduka. Imfene leyo yonke abogcwela amapolisa apha kwa-5 edanuni. Babantu bakokwabo bethunana bekhala phaya egcwala emswaneni. Uthi axhomiyane umnywa ngaphandle yena uthi le nto yogoduka iyamtraumatize. Ngoba yena ikhaya lakhe ulibona liyi-South Africa. Akanalo elinye ikhaya.
You must continue to do these videos. Keep on making them. Keep on kicking South African out of your country. We will just repost them. So South Africans, you can see, here's a free ticket to kick all these Mozambican out of our country. Passport, no passport, whatever, we don't give a f. Those South Africans were there, documented, not there to stay. We must do 10 times. Have no mercy for these people. Have no mercy, have no mercy, have zero mercy for these people.
So firstly, again, I have to say, all of this that he's saying should not be taken seriously. You should not be advocating kicking out legal migrants in South Africa. That is craziness. And I do understand that there are some good points about illegal immigrants, about crime, against all of that. But once you start advocating stuff like that, it will get bad.
Have no mercy. Me, I will have no mercy. You know, it's so funny. We're building a family house and we're supposed to finish up something. My mom, she told me, can we call those people from Mozambique? I say, hell no. Hell no. They're coming to our family house. Hell no. You're not coming there. I'll get South Africans to do what they need to do in that house. Don't want them anymore in that house. So South Africans, stop giving jobs to these people. They need to go. This is how they were treating South Africans in their country. We have never been in Mozambique doing crime. There is no South African in Mozambique doing crime. Yeah, there, here. Doing crime in our country. Kidnapping, doing illegal mining. We don't do the things that they're doing in our country, and they pretend like they don't understand.
Still watching SA Today. The Department of International Relations and Cooperation says that it's unacceptable for South Africans to be involved in activities that destabilize other countries. This is in response to reports of charges against South African citizen Andre Hanekom. These are relating to his alleged aiding of an extreme jihadist group in the northern part of Mozambique.
A South African and 2 Tanzanians are among leaders of a jihadist group reported to be operating in the northern gas-rich region. According to reports, this group wants to create an independent state. Hanekom, 60, was formally arrested in August in a hospital after being seized by the military from a restaurant in the gas industry hub town of Palma.
Mr. Hanekom was arrested by the Mozambican law enforcement agencies twice for being a suspect in a number of activities that took place in northern Mozambique. These are jihad and extreme activities that he is accused of being responsible for providing logistics.
Andre Hanekom, a South African citizen, or a South African if you'd like, was trying to destabilize the country of Mozambique for jihad. Now, I know some people think that there are no South Africans committing crimes overseas, but there are a ton of South African citizens which smuggle drugs to Mozambique, to Swaziland, to Zimbabwe, to all of these places. There are also some who are smuggling it to Brazil and many other countries outside of South Africa. And then there's the poachers from South Africa who keep getting arrested poaching animals in Mozambique. Now, South Africa has a large Islamic population, and obviously some very small number of South Africa's population has, Islamic terrorists. And these Islamic terrorists try to go to Somalia. They try to go to Iran. They try to go to Syria. They try to go to Yemen via Mozambique. And a few of them have been arrested in Mozambique, joint effort, because South Africa and Mozambique are partner countries. And so a lot of people who get arrested in Mozambique get thrown back into South Africa, like the Tulsi twins here who are trying to join the Islamic State.
After 6 long years behind bars, the Tulsi twins have finally been convicted and sentenced. The twins, who were arrested back in 2016, pleaded guilty to trying to leave South Africa to join the Islamic State in Syria. Now, the twins will spend some time in court, and ENC's Heidi Jockers tells us more about the sentencing.
Brandon Lee Tulsi has been sentenced to 8 years in prison, while his twin brother Tony Lee will serve 11 years. The 5 years and 7 months the twins have already served will count towards time served.
Please do not let these people out. They are very dangerous. There's a famous case of 3 South African women who were arrested in 3 different countries, Mozambique, Zimbabwe, and Nigeria. And at this time, there was a large amount of South African drug mules who had gone to India, China, Japan, Thailand, all of these different countries, Brazil, something that you will see in South African prisons, especially female prisons. There are a bunch of Brazilians in there as well, because Brazil and South Africa traffic to one another.
Welcome back. Let's bring you this story. Now, South Africans are divided about convicted drug mule Nolubabalo Bapsi Nobando's high-profile welcome back home. Tonight, she responds to the criticism in an exclusive interview with Checkpoint's Sebe Buthelezi.
When I got back, I heard some comments that, why is South Africa celebrating her after, she's done what she's done? She's a drug mule. She's not a hero. But I think, for me, my understanding is that it's not that South Africans are congratulating me for what I've done, but I think those that have been supporting me, they understand that people make mistakes.
Alicia Kutzer, originally from Cape Town, flew into Nairobi from Brazil over the weekend. She'd hoped to fly on to Botswana, but instead, police, seemingly tipped off, detained and searched her intimately. Police allegedly found more than 1 kilogram of cocaine.
They found 80 pellets.
Mbuzini village look quiet as you drive in, but deeper under it, it's a crime den. Residents allege that in this village, SUVs and bakkies are being smuggled to Mozambique in broad daylight. It is alleged that stolen vehicles are driven through this route adjacent to the Samor Machel monument. Residents allege that when cars are stolen, local police officials escort the drivers through the village with state vehicles. Now, residents fear for their lives. For Mozambique and beyond, these vehicles were impounded by law enforcement officials. They were being driven out of the country using this route that passes through the village of Mbuzini in Komazi. They've either been stolen or hijacked in different areas in the country. Residents suspect that smugglers may be working with some community members.
By the way, there's thousands of videos like that of South Africans smuggling animals, smuggling people, smuggling drugs, joining very violent groups all over Africa. But, South Africans never commit any crimes outside of South Africa. They just do it inside South Africa, and they're angels when they leave the country. We all know that. Now, my point is not to say that South Africans are committing crimes in other countries. Everybody is committing crimes outside of their own country. Americans are committing crimes in Africa, very dangerous crimes in Africa. In fact, let me show you one example.
Thank you very much. Here's some other new developments we're following for you. A West Jordan man, along with 2 other Americans implicated in a coup attempt in Congo, appeared before a military court today. Now, they claim Tyler Thompson Jr. was among 52 defendants who allegedly were involved in a botched coup attempt led by Christian Malenga. Malenga was fatally shot for resisting arrest. His 21-year-old son, Marcel Malenga, who is a U.S. citizen, traveled with Tyler from Utah to Africa. Tyler's stepmother, Miranda Thompson, told the Associated Press that the family found out about the hearing too late to arrange travel to Congo, but she says they hope to be there for future court dates.
Yeah, they pretend like they don't understand what's going on. We have told them many times, it's not even only about jobs. It's about what you're doing to this country. Yesterday, 51 Mozambicans were arrested for doing illegal mining in our country, destroying our country, destroying everything. Basotho, 107 of them. 107.
5 female South African drug mules were arrested on Saturday at the OR Tambo International Airport. Police say the suspects were found with drugs worth more than 5 million rand concealed on their bodies. Preliminary reports indicate that the group was headed to China via Dubai. The suspects are expected to appear in the Kempton Park Magistrate Court tomorrow.
Now, people are very misinformed about transnational drug trafficking and all of that. So people who commit crimes, they're very misinformed. And so they think a lot of these people work completely on their own, and they think they work internally, blah, blah, blah. But you will see that there will always be larger. Now, we're not going to get deeper into this. What I want to talk about is, why is it then that South Africa is catching so much hell for the kicking out of illegal immigrants when so many other countries are doing it at the same time? And as I said, of course, because they're black, and black countries will always catch hell, even though so many other countries have been doing it. In fact, South Africa was just copying America right now.
Countries across Africa have begun to take in more and more undocumented immigrants from the United States. But many of these undocumented migrants aren't from the African countries they're landing in. In fact, many aren't even from the continent at all. That's because Ghana, Uganda, South Sudan, Eswatini, Equatorial Guinea, and Rwanda have cut deals with the United States to accept, or at least agree to accept, deportees from the U.S. So
let's move on to this now. The deportation of 5 inmates considered to be hardened criminals from the United States of America to Eswatini has sparked outrage in the Kingdom of Eswatini and the neighboring countries. Some civil organizations and political parties are of the view that this development poses a threat to the security of the country and indeed the SADC region, including here in South Africa. Let's get some perspective now. Newsroom Africa's Mweli Masilela is in the capital of Eswatini, Mbabane, and he joins us now. And Mweli, good evening to you.
Yes, you heard that right. The United States of America deported a bunch of people, some of them from Africa, to other African states where they cut a deal, basically taking money to take questionable people who are being deported by the United States, and they're sent to Eswatini, Nigeria, all these countries, and they basically take them in, and then it's their problem. And some of them, as mentioned here, are hardened criminals. Obviously, the people of these nations are not necessarily happy, but this did not make them have a problem with United States foreigners. In fact, Not at all. You don't hear anything in the media about, oh, we don't want any people from the United States because they're, throwing our people out of their country and they should not be allowed to eat in our restaurants and blah blah blah. You will never hear that. In the same way that you will never hear, let's play the other one, the other country.
Migrants from sub-Saharan Africa arrive in Libya every day, in their hundreds after being abandoned by the border in the middle of the desert by Tunisian security forces, according to their accounts and those of Libyan border guards. Around 100 African migrants were rescued on Sunday by Libyan guards as they wandered through an uninhabited arid area near Sabkat Makta, a salt lake along the Tunisian-Libyan border. From Sudan, I traveled to Niger, then from Niger to Algeria, then from Algeria to Tunisia. I worked in a center there. I worked on daily basis and monthly basis, and while I was working, they caught me and they sent me here to the borders.
The pieces, the foam pieces, then break it or then send me inside Sahara Desert. I now working inside the desert for up to 2 days and without no food, no water.
North African countries have been kicking out Africans for the longest, where they toss them into the Sahara Desert for dead. And then they still don't catch as much hell as South Africans have got. And in fact, Africans keep insisting that these North Africans are Africans like the rest of us, even though they constantly say the opposite. And they keep throwing people. And now, this is not, again, to cause hatred, but the people are not hated the way that South Africans are being hated right now. And I know why, obviously. It's black people find it easy. And it's not even just because it's black. It's because the racism has worked to trick other black people into thinking that they should always attack black people. If North Africans come to any of these African countries, they're going to be greeted with smiles, even though there's the same amount, if not more, of people who are hostile to their people. There's one video, I can't even show you, but Ethiopians or Somalians, they try to go to Libya, they get napped, kept in homes, and then their families get blackmailed for money.
Somali migrant Mohammed Abdi Awal says his dream of reaching the US has survived a brutal journey across Africa, months of torture by smugglers and detention in Libya. Awal is among 165 Somalis recently repatriated after enduring harrowing conditions while attempting to reach Europe. My long-term dream since childhood has been to live in the US, but when Trump came to power, my hope of going there was dashed because he hates foreigners. I still hold on to the hope of going to the US, and I believe that will happen after Trump's term expires. His journey took him through Kenya, Uganda, South Sudan and Sudan before smugglers captured him near the Libya border and took him to Kufra, a notorious hub for trafficking networks. Captures filmed him being beaten to demand ransom from his family. They threatened me and instructed me to send the money. A poor woman, I couldn't afford the ransom, so I reached out to all Somalis begging for help. Thankfully, they responded and my son was released after we paid $17,000.
It's home at last for these 11 Somali nationals evacuated from Libya. They include this family of 6, a father, mother and 4 children. The 11 migrants are the first batch to be freed from Libyan captors. More than 5,000 Somali migrants are believed to be in various detention facilities across this strife-torn North African nation. The returnees speak of harrowing experience at the hands of their captors in Libya.
Libya is a terrible place. Hundreds of migrants are being held in various detention centers. Many of my friends have died there. My close friend died from internal bleeding because he couldn't handle the beating.
My family spent $15,000 to secure my release. It was torture all along. The smugglers raped young girls. Some were forced into marriage.
Mariam Yassin is Somalia's special envoy for migrants and children's rights. She led a government delegation to Tripoli, and it's there that she met hundreds of young Somalis. Her team was, however, unable to convince all of them to return, but she tells me that they won't give up.
Those we managed to bring back were initially in detention camps south of Libya, especially from Kufra and Bin Walid. Some paid smugglers, others ran without being known. They came to our embassy in Tripoli, having suffered all sorts of atrocities.
For years, criminal gangs continue to use social media sites such as Facebook, posting videos and images online of young men and women being tortured and later sent to their families back home with a ransom demand, with some ranging from $8,000 to $10,000. It's such videos that continue.
Libya's eastern-based government has blocked the entry of people from 4 African countries in a bid to stem the influx of migrants en route to Europe. The ban, announced late on Tuesday, prohibits citizens of Sudan, Eritrea, Ethiopia and Somalia from entering through all land, sea and airports. Officials of Osama Hamad's Benghazi-based government say an exception will be made for diplomats and workers in the health and education sectors.
So my question to all the other African nations is, where is the outrage for these people? By the way, I haven't even showed you all of them. There's still Dubai, there's still Yemen, Europe, obviously. Why is it that South Africa is the one catching the most amount of hell? We can agree or disagree with what's going on in South Africa, but it's nothing compared to what these other countries are doing and have been doing for decades now. But, you know, the other one, America, it's more recent, but again, it's not good. But again, all of these people are living brilliantly in Africa, and I hope they continue to. But I hope that Africans stop using excuses to hate one another